Hello, hello, and welcome to ohmTown Daily, the news show powered by ohmTown.com. Today is March 5th, 2024. Almost forgot the year. It's Season 3, Episode 65. Today we're going to be talking about NASA, the tabletop RPG. That's no moon. VCRs to the rescue. Tampering with HUGO. Glowforge has a spark. VR online services by Meta. Is that a euphemism for Taco Bell? Bold move, Cotton. How does it play out? A paid membership target. And a catnip party. Everyone is coming. That and more. Hello everybody, I am Mayor Watt. Up there is the visualizer for the sentient AI. You want to say hi?
Good evening, ohmTown citizens.
And the website that powers the show is ohmTown.com. That's that thing over there. Yo, I changed it up a little bit. Keep people pop. Yeah. Anyway, we always have news being aggregated. I created ohmTown.com a decade ago so that I could manage my information overload. It's actually been publicly accessible for the last 3 years. This is actually the third year that it's been publicly available, but it has this number currently of years. It's just shy of 5 because 2024 just started. So, but as time goes on, this will expand and additional functions and features will become available, but you have to become a citizen of ohmTown to use most of them. The news aggregation and the stuff behind it you can use to some degree without becoming a citizen. That said, let's get into today's articles. Unless the AI has something that they want to say. No?
No, just go on to the articles.
Let's get going. So, because I'm a tabletop gaming kind of person, that's what I grew up with. I haven't played in a long time, and I miss it. It's, sometimes you just have a craving for something, right? And I always want to play. I actually have like a bunch of tabletop RPG books that I have purchased in modern times and never played. So I want to. But NASA really made its own tabletop RPG for you to play. It says NASA still has plenty of cool projects afoot in the real world. Did you hear about the asteroid redirecting test? Yes, that was the DART test. Or those friendly or space-friendly cameras. But it's also trying to stir imaginations in fantastically creative ways too. Enter the Lost Universe, the agency's first ever tabletop role-playing game. I love the idea of this. It's an article over at gizmodo.com. Oh, wait, before I throw that over there, let me throw this into the chat. Move that mouse over there. And we'll come back. So Cheryl Eddy over at gizmodo.com put the article together. Okay, so I heard somebody actually reference this as the log line, but we've been referring to it as the deck statement, right?
So, I thought a log line was specifically for a movie, for instance.
Yeah, like an episode of a show or a movie or something like that, right? So this is the deck statement.
Something used as part of a pitch.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so I don't know. I've always thought that this is a deck statement. So that Lost Universe offers a free deep space adventure that can be adapted to your favorite tabletop RPG system. And so it says it's first, what now? Yes, a tabletop RPG crafted at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center with a gameplay instructional booklet currently available for free. You can download it. It says plus Tolkien-esque map, so it must be like old-timey. I'd click it, but you know what? Y'all can go and click it. The link through ohmTown over to the Gizmodo source, and obviously NASA is the true source for all of this. But here's the pitch. A dark mystery has settled over the city of Aldestron on the rogue planet of Exlaris. I'm starting to think that AI might have written this. Researchers dedicated to studying the cosmos have disappeared, and the Hubble Space Telescope has vanished from Earth's timeline. Only an ambitious crew of adventurers can uncover what was lost. Are you up to the challenge? Yeah, this would be a log line kind of a thing, right? So, neat pitch. You can be a researcher and try and find, I guess, the Hubble Space Telescope, but they're not going to risk the James Webb Telescope. Come on. Yeah, there's an educational element lurking here. Take on a classic villain while also using and learning science skills as you overcome challenges and embark on an exciting quest to unlock more knowledge about our universe, which feels both obvious as well as something that cleverly exploits the Venn diagram encompassing tabletop RPG fans and science lovers, which, yeah, it says here, which is to say a lot of folks. I'd say that Venn diagram is a circle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's probably 100% of each.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's pretty neat. Yeah, it's like a little portal too, right there. I won't. I mean, I've pretty much read most of this article, but there's a video that you can watch. It's over on YouTube as well, but I urge you to follow this link and go on over to gizmodo.com so you can show Cheryl Eddy. Go ahead.
I think this is a neat development. As far as I know, this is the first time a government agency has done this.
A
it
tabletop
seems like
RPG?
They're trying to get into modern times, yeah.
Yeah. There have been other agencies have created certain things, like card games,
like
and stuff.
those. I was thinking the challenges and everything, but yes.
Oh, challenge coins. Yeah,
no, like challenge competitions or.
Oh, right. Yeah, there's those too. Yeah, there's some gamification going on, but I think you're right. This is the first tabletop RPG that I've heard of coming out of an agency. I guess the real world ones would be tests for like NSA and CIA and stuff like that.
Right. Maybe then you get a job or something. I don't know.
That's real world role-playing game. Pretty neat. And I dig this. So, but let's keep on going. This next article is over in the mobile channel. This one's titled That's No Moon, but the article itself is titled This Potentially Inhabited Moon. This potentially inhabited moon.
This was one of those headlines where it's like screech as you read it.
This potentially inhabited moon is churning out enough oxygen for 1 million humans. Jupiter's icy moon Europa produces plenty of oxygen every day, according to new findings based on data from NASA's Juno spacecraft. The moon has long been of interest to astrobiologists because of the possibility that life could exist in its subsurface ocean. Now, the place is absolutely going to be frozen. So could something exist in something that desolate? The article's over at gizmodo.com. Isaac Schultz is the author.
Yes. What about those, like Ice Age? Was it worms or something?
Oh, goodness. Can you imagine if one of those is living out there and we just land some probe and bring it back? This is how you make alien movies, okay? Do you want alien movies? Because this is how you get alien movies. Oh, great googly moogly. Did you have to say that out loud? That's how it's made reality, when you say it out loud. So the research published in this week's Nature Astronomy focused on data from Juno's Jovian Auroral Distributions Experiment, or JADE, because you have to have a word. What is it, a wordonym or something like? It's not an acronym. What is that called when an acronym actually says a word? I think an
acronym. That is an acronym.
Yeah, but there's a type with that where it is a word. It makes a word, not just an acronym. But I can't remember. So the scientists estimated oxygen production from the moon based on the amount of hydrogen outgassing from its surface. And you know what? We have another article about some outgassing that takes place. We'll talk about it later. So their conclusion, Europa generates about 1,000 tons of oxygen every 24 hours, enough for 1 million breathing humans. 1,000 tons is how much oxygen a million people consume? By the way, you need more than oxygen for humans. Pure oxygen isn't going to really work out for you all that well. You need nitrogen as well.
By the way, I thought an acronym actually had to be a word, but it's just something that gets pronounced as a word. It doesn't have to be a real word.
Yeah, but I think that there is another form of an acronym that is a word, but now I can't remember what it is. So it says Europa is like an ice ball slowly losing its water in a flowing stream, except in this case, the stream is a fluid of ionized particles swept around Jupiter by its extraordinary magnetic field. When these ionized particles impact Europa, they break up the water ice molecule by molecule, and lo and behold, producing hydrogen and oxygen. Interesting. So I guess it's the what do they call? What's it called when you shoot a bunch of electricity through water to separate its
is that like
hydrogen,
fission
oxygen
or something?
No. I can't remember it right now. Daggone it. So Europa is promising venue for astrobiology. Scientists harbor hope that some kind of life ekes out existence beneath the frozen moon's icy shell. Electrolysis, right? Is that it? No. Is that it? Doggone it. Hold on a second.
I mean, this is very significant. I think this is the first discovery of oxygen on another planet or body.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it is electrolysis anyway. But this is basically using a magnetic field to split what would be water into oxygen and hydrogen. So it is electrolysis, but not with electricity. It's with magnetism, which is a feature of electricity, but it's part of the electromagnetic spectrum. But I don't know of any other place where where scientists have said that it's producing oxygen. But do they even say anything like that in this article? Huh. Yeah, I don't see anything. But that's okay. Let's keep going. This is really interesting. We'll keep an eye on it.
It says it produces 1,000 tons per day.
Yeah. It's really neat. But where else in our solar system, or perhaps detected somewhere else, have scientists detected oxygen? Just oxygen all by itself, let alone producing oxygen. I just don't see it. I don't remember ever hearing that there's oxygen on other places. It's going to be interesting because if you can capture this, you can actually utilize it both for manned missions and for fuel. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I've been saying that a lot lately. Today, been saying cool. I was giving a whole speech today, and kept on saying things were cool.
Maybe they were very cool.
Maybe they were really cool, like Jupiter cool, or Europa cool. There you go. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Hedge Ideas. Microsoft compares New York Times claim against OpenAI to Hollywood's early fight against VCR. I like this. Microsoft asked a judge to dismiss part of the New York Times' lawsuit against OpenAI, accusing the media company of unsubstantiated claims. And they are. Mackenzie Siglos and Hayden Field over at CNBC put the article together. It says Microsoft, the key points in this article, and we'll read a little bit more of the article. Before I do that, let me throw it into the chat. I still haven't figured out a way to seamlessly throw the links into the chat. So, well, there goes the ability to promote this. So Microsoft is helping OpenAI fight back against claims of copyright infringement by the New York Times. The news outlet's lawsuit filed in December seeks to hold Microsoft and OpenAI accountable for billions of dollars in damages. And in a court filing on Monday, Microsoft accuses the publisher of unsubstantiated claims that use of OpenAI's technology is harming its business. How? I wonder if they say,
Well,
here's
in order
the,
to make those claims, they'd have to show how it's being harmed.
yeah, and it has to be specific. It can't just be this nebulous, oh, it's causing global warming. You have to actually show that it's actually doing some harm to you.
Uh-huh.
Although there is a way that you can turn it into a class that makes it so that harm to an entire industry, or you don't actually have to be. Okay, so here's the thing. I've always been told that you have to actually be harmed, but you can actually sue on behalf of the people who may be harmed because of
That's
whatever
true.
action. So if you can demonstrate that there is a population that's being harmed, then you can actually make the claim. But I don't see it, right? In this case, the New York Times uses its might and its megaphone to challenge the latest profound technological advance, the large language model. Attorneys for Microsoft wrote, Microsoft is OpenAI's largest investor, having pumped about 13 billion. Is that right? No, I thought they only put 1.3 billion. They actually put 13 billion into the startup? Really?
That doesn't sound right.
Is that right? Did they? Yeah, $13 billion
Wow.
investment. The startup's total valuation hit roughly 29 billion in April of last year. Wow. All right.
Okay.
Um, so I mean that's a hell of a, honestly, I think that there's something really big on the horizon, and there's other news that has come out that there are competitors who are even better than ChatGPT 4, but ChatGPT 4 has been around for a substantial amount of time in the grand scheme of AI. So, what do we not know that's already behind the doors that we will never know, because ChatGPT 5 will be incrementally better than 4 and better than all of the competitors, but certainly won't be the pinnacle of what OpenAI has done. Open AI, as far as it's somewhat open. OpenAI
Open as in totally closed.
yeah, it's open as in opaque. As anyway, the filing marks the latest salvo in the battle between OpenAI and the media industry, which is increasingly concerned that OpenAI models are being trained on valuable content that has been produced over many decades. In its lawsuit, the Times accused OpenAI and Microsoft of copyright infringement and abusing the newspaper's intellectual property in training LLMs. So it's okay if consumers view it because we're dummies and we will forget everything. But the elephant in the room, which is the internet, which remembers everything and things are cached all over the place, apparently that's not okay, because if I go back and I access some older data, wouldn't that be akin to the open AI LLM reaching out and grabbing old data that nobody cares about anymore and learning how to, you know,
It depends on what it's doing with it. If it's just learning from it, that's one thing, but it's not always just learning. Sometimes it's copying it.
yeah, I'd like to see more of that, and how much of it's as a matter of harm how many results are direct quotes of something without the context of being called a direct quote.
Well, that's true. Right. I mean, that's been the biggest issue, I think, with AI is that no sources are cited.
Yeah, there you go. So there's the solution. If you're going to make a claim, cite the source, but it isn't an academic paper because newspapers don't cite their sources so much as say, this is some information, we got it from this or that, but it's not a technical citation with a references or works cited document at the end or footnotes, etc. They may have it, but it's not produced that way, right?
Yeah, but I don't even think AI could cite sources because I think it's all just been
Word jumble.
dumped into there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's basically the equivalent of a smart word find,
Hmm.
Throw a whole bunch of words up on a board and then do this kind of random walk through. Why did the music stop? I didn't stop it. What the heck? That was weird. I think we're going to have a problem again. So, I don't buy into a lawsuit, but I guess we'll see. If they can demonstrate that there is overt copying, then so be it. But I don't
I
see it
think that's going to
happening.
be hard to show unless I don't know, maybe the source code or something.
Yeah, some internal
Uh,
document, Good luck.
right.
I think the sentient AI that OpenAI already has knows that there isn't anything and will be able to argue in court for itself that no, we didn't take anything wholesale and we don't publish anything wholesale as a duplicate
And we don't buy, sell, or
process.
would process anything.
That's right. I just want to hang with your AI. So the next article is over in Temporology. HUGO Awards tampering expanded as previously reported on February 14th, 2024. Chris M. Barkley and Jason Sanford released the 2023 HUGO Awards, a report on censorship and exclusion, and an extensive look at the irregularities in the recent HUGO Awards presented in Chengdu, China. So the article is over at, oh, well, hold on. Let me throw this into the chat. Did I?
So I don't think we featured the previous reporting on this.
No, we did not. So this is from locusmag.com. Temporology is a channel here that focuses on the science and science fiction of time and time travel. So it has a little bit of science and a whole lot of fiction. Just enough to be interesting, and one of those things is definitely couched in science fiction. So the locusmag.com focuses on science fiction, fantasy, horror, and it says 30-time Hugo Award winner. So get out of the way, because I guess they know what they're talking about. So this is pretty cool. I don't see if there is, let me see at the bottom if there is a byline here. I don't see anything. No, that's not it. This is quite an extensive report.
No, that looked like a byline, but it was a trick.
Yeah. So let's scroll back up and see if they're at the top and I'm just missing it. No, I just don't see it. Okay, well, if you can tell me who it is that actually wrote it, then let me know. Just send an email to mayor@ohmTown.com. With that in mind, it says HUGO Awards tampering expanded. On February 14th, 2024, Barkley and Sanford released the 2023 HUGO Awards, a report on censorship and exclusion, which was a look at irregularities. In the recent HUGO Awards presented in Chengdu, China, including a set of leaked emails from Diane Lacey, one of the awards eligibility researchers. The nomination statistics showed several works and individuals were ruled ineligible without any explanation, including Babel by R.F. Kuang, Fogong Temple Pagoda by Hai Ya, Paul Weimer for Fan Writer, and Astounding nominee Zirin J. Zhao. There were also surprising lack of Chinese works included on the short list. None of the affected authors knew why they were deemed ineligible, and no explanation was provided. Neil Gaiman's Sandman TV series received many nominations for both long and short dramatic presentation, but season 1 was removed from consideration for long because one of the episodes had more votes in the short category, but then the episode was marked not eligible for the short award for reasons not explained. As a result, Sandman was dropped from both categories.
Sounds a little questionable.
So there are these leaked emails released by one of the administrators of the 2023 HUGO Awards indicate that authors and works deemed not eligible for the awards were removed due to political considerations. Like
we don't want somebody winning from fill in the blank location?
Correct, yeah. Or because of their public political discourse.
Okay.
So the knock-on effect is that because you don't agree with a particular political ideology, you're nixed from everything because you're a cultural contaminant. So in addition to the regular technical review, as we are happening in China and the laws we operate under are different, we need to highlight anything of a sensitive political nature in the work. It's not necessary to read everything, but if the work focuses on China, Taiwan, Tibet, or other topics that may be an issue in China, that needs to be highlighted so that we can determine if it's safe to put on the ballot, or if the law will require us to make an administrative decision about it. So my problem with this is if you are abiding by the rules and they are antithetical to essentially the existence of your entity, I don't think that you should participate. I think that you should really balk and say, look, we are at our core antithetical to this particular political ideological bent. Then I have to also argue, well, it really kind of sucks because this could be of value to the people who do make the cut and aren't necessarily hardline, China political discourse. They just want to, and this is how I feel about most people, and this is how I feel about pretty much everything. I think society leans towards being liberal and open and embracing of people. That is what society craves. Society, right? The only way that you can keep people from being that way is through outright oppression. And you have to be rather brutal in that tactic, right? So I have a real problem with somebody being prevented from writing something, or maybe that's why I stopped in. I don't know.
I just have a more basic concern with it. This whole thing is supposed to focus on creativity.
Right. But it's the right creativity. See, AI, it's the right
but that's
creativity.
kind of limiting, isn't it?
Well, apparently not. You can be very, very creative as long as you align it with political frameworks. So after the release of Barkley and Sanford's report, Cat Jones published a letter expressing concern that the confidential HUGO Awards eligibility research material that was leaked might be incomplete or modified. And there's a quote here, and I am really shocked that this extremely, extremely confidential material was shared in the first place. Jones did eligibility research as instructed by McCarty, but became concerned about the process and wrote on June 7th, quote, again, inside the quote, I'm pointing out examples out of abundance of caution because I'm assuming we're talking about the safety of our Chinese it says con running. Oh, the people who are running the convention. con-running friends when we're making these evaluations. However, no confirmation of her assumption appears in the materials. That letter is here, and they actually link to the disclosure. So this article goes into quite an extensive list. So I urge you to go and check this out if you are interested in this kind of thing. It has both technical and social impact in the world. Because I'm not really hip to this. I think that a person should be able to write pretty much whatever they want, and society will choose what it is that's acceptable. The internet has largely afforded people to say stuff, and no matter what the audience, there is enough room out there for them to gather, even if it is horrid. The technology and anonymity has enabled this to take place. But I would rather have victimless crimes where they're virtual and nobody is actually harmed than somebody who doesn't have an outlet and has psychological issues, can't create. And that is on the far side. That's like the extreme side of my, kind of ideology. As we move more towards the center, I think that in the center is quite broad. I don't think that, I don't know, a narrow number of people should dictate thought. And I think through the expansive creative process and a plurality of people, you can come up with some wondrous things. And unfortunately, in certain places, writing something like science fiction or fantasy or horror is tantamount to violating some doctrine, and you can end up in jail. They were actually worried about allowing or not allowing certain things because the Chinese convention members might get caught up in the political aspect of something as simple as a book. Now, words have meaning, so I know that it can be a powerful tool, but wow.
I was trying to figure out where the Hugo Awards are actually based because they're put on by a body called the World Science Fiction Society, but I couldn't locate it. But it's interesting because many of the initial World Cons were held, um, like a lot of their events have been held in the US, then they started branching out. Um, so I found it very interesting.
So, it's Worldcon, right?
Right. I mean, and so it's more like it's rotated for hosting, but what I was trying to get at is the society or whatever behind the awards actually from China, for instance? I didn't think it was, but I wanted to look up some information on that.
Yeah, where is it? So it
It's
started
actually in the
Philadelphia.
US.
Yeah. The first Hugo Awards were presented at the 11th Worldcon in Philadelphia. So Worldcon is actually, they became synonymous apparently, but Worldcon is 11 years older
Oh,
than,
interesting. Okay.
or at least 10 years older. And so let's see, Worldcon is actually more formally known as the World Science Fiction Convention. The annual convention of the World Science Fiction Society is a science fiction convention. No shit news at 8:38. Um, yeah, it just says convention location changes every year. Several, and it says a country is several, though mainly the United States.
The only thing I could think of that kind of had a connection to that is, for example, the Olympics rotate
Right.
um, hosting. And so there have been sensitivities depending on which country is hosting, et cetera. But I just found it interesting because the organization itself is not from China.
Right.
So because they chose to host in this location, now they're censoring the
Yep.
content, but then that seems like that's even skewing it from the other competitions that they do in other years.
Correct. Yeah. And really, that's something that I've said to people is if you're going to go into some other country, you have to live by the rules of that country and your country. So, wherein the country you are visiting is more strict, you follow that rule because you will end up in jail if you violate some law that you think doesn't apply to you because you are following American law. Well, I hate to break it to you, bub. When you're in another country, you don't have some exemption that says, well, I'm American, I can do whatever I want. Ta-da! Just like if you come from another
All the way to
country.
the jail in the other country.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So you just have to be the most strict. You can't be liberal when you're in some other country because if their laws are more strict, then whenever you do something stupid, you're going to pay the price. Um, yeah, that's just how it works. But then, anyway, I won't get into that flip side of that. But let's keep going. If you want to find out more about this, just follow the link through them. The next article is over in Technology Today. Glowforge releases Spark, another low-priced 3D laser engraver to attract more home crafters. So, okay, I really like the Glowforge. I like the Glowforge Pro. It provides a valuable service for creativity. I hate the idea that it is a cloud-based service. Done and done. The new Glowforge Spark 3D laser engraver is the company's lowest price machine yet. The previous device was called Aura, and it was $1,200. The Spark is now $700, and there's two higher priced Glowforges called the Glowforge Plus and the Glowforge Pro. So the Glowforge Pro is $5,000, and the Glowforge Pro is $7,000. Did I say that right? Yeah, the Glowforge
I
Plus
think
is
so.
5,000. Yeah. So it's a little smaller. The Spark is the new one. It's a little bit smaller than the Aura, and the Aura is actually pretty tiny compared to its bigger brethren. Kurt Schlosser over at GeekWire put the article together. Let me throw it into the chat real quick. So if you're kind of starting out and you want to noodle around with a laser, this could be the way to go. There are others out there, certainly, but I would avoid open frame diode lasers unless you're in a space that has plenty of ventilation and maybe some fire control.
Is that
But
all?
yeah, and you have to be able to avoid going blind because of ricochets from the laser. But the article over at GeekWire has a deck statement of GeekWire's in-depth startup coverage tells the story of the Pacific Northwest entrepreneurial scene. So if you go over to GeekWire and follow its startups side of things, you'll learn about this. And Glowforge actually is kind of a startup, but it's older. It still, I think, presents itself as a startup. So maybe that's why it's in this under this ad. Maybe I don't know. But I've had the Glowforge Pro for a considerable amount of time. And to date, I haven't had a problem with it connecting to its cloud service. But there's a lawsuit out there right now saying that there are issues with the Glowforge in terms of its safety. But it was Glowforge's specifically that was targeted by somebody, an activist.
Oh, I see. So it's not really the Glowforge itself is the problem.
Yeah, so I don't know really because I know from experience that the Glowforge is almost entirely enclosed inside a metal housing, with maybe a similar type of, um, as a proportion of its size, a door that lifts up. But even that door, the top glass is really the only thing that is truly glass, and it's shielded. So I really don't understand what people are talking about. So if you go noodling around like about Glowforge and you find out about this lawsuit, I just don't see putting too much behind it. Plus, even on top of that, you can actually wear glasses that are um, capable of blocking, and I have those glasses as well, for the Glowforge. It's easy. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it says here that the Spark is a little smaller than the Aura. It's 8 by 12. The Aura works a little faster and also features a 12-inch wide bed that also has a pass-through capability that allows for unlimited length of materials. The Spark runs the same suite, so it's entirely a cloud-based solution that pushes the what would be G code to any other laser. It would be G code, but I guess they use some proprietary language, so you can't have it local. You can't have a local, um, uh, kind of, well, you can't have any software that allow, like, I just got it for the fiber laser,
Oh,
the light. What is it called?
light, um,
Doggone it. Whoops.
light burn.
Lightburn. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. So Lightburn allows you to control the a laser, but it won't allow you to attach to Glowforge. You have to use their service. And if you want professional, or I should say, if you want Glowforge's development environment so that you can create your own stuff from their website, then you have to pay a subscription fee. Um, Along with other things, like you can actually get plans and it will interpret the drawing and start cutting. So it says, in a nod to the startup's roots, which began with a record-setting 27.9 million crowdfunding campaign in 2015, Glowforge is conducting a 1-month pre-sale of the Spark through its website, dropping the price to $600. Um, Again, I've
That's
never had a
interesting.
problem.
It's going to be available in retail locations.
Yeah, because it's tiny, right? The Spark is 8 by 12, so you can put what amounts to a small piece of paper in there, 8.5 by 11, and it'll work. So it's pretty neat. It looks like a baby Glowforge. Yeah.
Maybe it is a baby
Oh,
Glowforge.
here they
But it
go.
seems like it has a decent laser area too.
Yeah, sure. It's great for a hobbyist. It's great for at-home production of small volumes of material. It says the startup has been hit by back-to-back rounds of layoffs, including 30 job cuts in December and an unspecified number of cuts in early February. A lot of businesses are doing that. Unfortunately, a funding round fell through, and then a person from Las Vegas claimed online for years that the startup is selling defective and dangerous machines. The company filed a motion in February to dismiss the suit against Jonathan Gleish, a self-described tech enthusiast and activist who had been critical of Glowforge on Facebook and other internet forums. There's more over here at this article. Again, the article is by Kurt Schlosser over at geekwire.com. Go check it out. I just don't see it having any merit, but that's okay. Maybe they know something that I don't. And those laser burns that are on my neck certainly didn't come from the Glowforge. Just kidding. Yeah, nothing has impacted me from the laser. Uh, Twitch. Just kidding. So the next article is over in the Reality Hacker channel. Meta's servers are malfunctioning, rendering all Quest headsets temporarily unusable. This happened in the last 24 hours. I actually don't know what the disposition of this is, but it says Meta servers aren't working correctly, rendering all Quest headsets temporarily unusable. This is why I titled this VR online only services by Meta. This kind of stuff really annoys me, and I actually put these back to back because of that, right? The Glowforge should not only be online. I should be able to drive it when my internet connection goes down. I should be able to drive my laser. If the company goes under, I have to figure out, or somebody has to figure out, some way of driving this bus again. And I guarantee you they're going to release the control board and it's going to be $1,000 or something, exorbitant, because anything other than that is going to be a paperweight for $7,000. Yeah, and you'll have one really irritated Mayor Watt. And this is the same thing. It says, here's all they see when trying to use their Quest. No interfaces are accessible. Both their Quest 3 and Quest 2, which were connected to Wi-Fi and on standby, are show something went wrong screen, preventing them main system interface from appearing, meaning no apps can be launched. They've heard of dozens of others experiencing the same issue. So the article is over at Upload. David Heaney put the article together. I don't have an ad blocker on my browser, so I'm really sorry.
Oh, well, you can see it here, but I was trying to look. It has been resolved.
Okay. So update, the issue has been resolved around 8:40 a.m. Pacific time. So this is a late addition or an early addition to our rundown. But the real reason why I chose this was because I really don't like a service being bound to online. I don't like games like this. I don't like technology like this, because if something goes wrong, I'm completely screwed. And that's actually happened a couple of times with other technology that I've had. And it just irritates me to the point where I think that the stuff like this should be a class action, because there should be a minimum viable product that does not require full access to the internet just to function at a minimum level. I want to be able to utilize my equipment for its intended purposes, sans that company being in existence, or in my home, or in my office, or in my warehouse, all up in my shit. I want to be able to use my stuff. I purchased it. It shouldn't be that I'm bound at the hip to this other company, and certainly not Meta. So it says this isn't the first time VR users woke up to find their headset unusable due to a software issue. Back in 2018, every Oculus Rift, which is the same company, Meta, stopped working due to an expired certificate. That problem took Meta more than 12 hours to fix, while this issue was resolved in just over 1 hour.
I think this is, a lot of people, of course, are using this for gaming, and that's a problem. But what if you're using these platforms for your business? Or
Yeah.
I just, this kind of gets back to the eggs in one basket, like one platform is being the entire backbone of what you do.
Yep. If you have all of your eggs in one basket, somebody steals your basket and they take your eggs with it. So
Yes,
keep
it's
that
the
in
Easter
mind
Bunny.
when designing your business model. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Man charged with smuggling greenhouse gases into U.S. from Mexico. I titled this one, "Is that a euphemism for Taco Bell?"
That's what the title was. I saw that in the rundown. I'm like, which article does that go to?
Sorry, I had to take my shot there. A California man was arrested and charged for allegedly smuggling greenhouse gases from his colon into the United States. No, it didn't have that in there. I'm sorry. They were allegedly smuggling greenhouse gases into the United States from Mexico and selling them for profit, federal prosecutors said on Monday. What the hell are... Okay. Oh, refrigerants. Come on now. Michael Hart of San Diego is accused of purchasing refrigerants in Mexico and bringing them into the United States in his vehicle. They were also hidden under a tarp and tools. He allegedly posted the fluids for sale on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, and other websites, according to the DOJ. Miranda Nazaro over at The Hill put this article together. Hart's indictment marks the first prosecution in the U.S. that includes charges related to the American Innovation and Manufacturing Act of 2020, which prohibits the importation of hydrofluorocarbons. Because if you're gonna cause global warming, you want to do it domestically.
I know. I was like, here we are trying to tackle all these things, but I don't think any of us have thought about theft in the process.
HFCs are powerful greenhouse gases that drive climate change, and
And I'm sorry, I said
unironically,
theft. I guess just smuggling, right? He
yeah,
purchased them.
he purchased them, but then he drove climate change into the United States. That's pretty funny. So, what are you hauling? Climate change. And are typically used for refrigeration, insulation, air conditioners, aerosols, and fire extinguisher systems per prosecutor, citing the EPA, and they are used to replace ozone depleting substances, the production and importation of which the U.S. is trying to phase out. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. So, do you think that they were making that much money, that they got it from Mexico and the margin was big enough that they would risk, well, obviously, they would risk bringing it into the United States, and then they post it on OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace? How does that work? Hey, this is really illegal, but you can buy it from me.
I bet there was a huge markup. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have done it. But I don't really understand that people would even be looking for this. But
Probably the same people that say that you can take their gas burner from their cold dead fingers, kind of a thing. Get off
well,
my
that's interesting that
lawn.
you said that because I was thinking I bet these are for use in old appliances.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of getting something more efficient and effective. Although, I mean, sometimes the juggernauts are the old school stuff and it works like a charm. It might kill you later, but still. Let's keep going. This next article kind of blew me away. I'm not quite sure how this went about.
And how
So,
does the romantics have to do with it?
yeah, I'm really curious. So, this is over in the Law Nerd channel. Lawyer mistakenly filed verbatim copy of opponent's brief, leading to loss for romantics band member. So, a verbatim copy is word for word the exact copy of the opponent's brief. So, and brief is not their underwear. A trial court did not
You don't know
abuse
what
its
they filed with the court.
touche. Maybe it was an exact copy of the opponent's underwear, and thus they were debriefed publicly and they lost the trial. You know what? Maybe I should just transition into the next article because this one's going to get too silly too fast. So the article is over at the ABA Journal. Deborah Cousins-Weiss put the article together. A trial court did not abuse its discretion when it required a member of the rock band Romantics to pay triple damages after his new attorney. New attorney might actually mean attorney who just got their license to practice law.
Or they just came onto the case yesterday.
Or they just came out of the case, yeah. Filed a verbatim copy of the opponent's brief by mistake, the Michigan Court of Appeals has ruled. That's brutal.
This doesn't make any sense.
So while they may have lost, this is ineffective counsel and downright, I would say that the law firm is culpable for their attorney's actions because this is incompetence. The appeals court ruled against the Romantics guitarist Mike Skill in a lawsuit alleging that he wrongly diverted royalty payments to himself. All right. The trial court The trial judge had ordered Skill to pay triple damages of more than $232,300 as requested by the plaintiffs in their motion for summary disposition. The appeals court affirmed it on February 29th, unpublished opinion. Skill co-wrote the song What I Like About You, according to Law 360. So the nuts and bolts of this is Skill's lawyer intended to file an opposition to the plaintiff's motion for summary disposition, the appeals court said. Instead, the June 2022 brief was a cut and paste of the plaintiff's brief in support of summary disposition, signed by Skill's lawyer, who was not named in the opinion. Because
Oh,
he's going to
I
be
thought
named.
this was like a file version issue, like there was a file name
Right.
that they put the wrong file in when they were submitting it, but not if they signed it.
Yeah. Not only if they sign. Yeah. But what this
Like I thought it
actually.
was like brief and then they posted it, but it was the wrong one or something.
Yeah, it's like I get submitted stuff like that, where somebody grabbed the wrong file and I have to go back and go, no, go back and fix this. But this is actually a, yeah, this is a,
I don't know what this is. I mean,
right. So Skill's lawyer actually took the plaintiff's motion, apparently chopped it up for their submission, and instead of denying it, like using it as fodder to, disclaim all of the stuff, they actually supported the summary disposition in their filing.
well, I think I'm kind of getting this now because, again, it wasn't like a file error, right? This is like I'm putting somebody else's brief as my own.
Yeah, sort of. So the new attorney said a paralegal had filed the wrong brief. It was filed on the extended deadline day for a response for the summary disposition request. Skill's lawyer tried to file an amended brief the next day, but the trial judge apparently rejected it, which that's absurd. So there's all kind, but then an appeal actually supported it. So I really don't understand it. Right? I, I don't get it. An appeals
This
court
is
affirmed
not
it.
filing the wrong brief, though. There's a brief that the person signed. It's not
Yeah,
sending the wrong copy in.
yeah. They basically, this is essentially incompetence. They took what the paralegal constructed and signed it without reading it. Yeah, and then filed it.
Right.
Yeah,
So maybe that's why the appeals court is
right.
holding firm. I don't know.
Yeah, the trial George. All trials are powered by Georges. The trial judge also said evidence established Skill's liability for conversion, breach of fiduciary duty, and unjust enrichment. Just simply redirecting um, royalties to yourself would amount to all three of those immediately. So Skill thought that what he was entitled to royalties without the money first passing through Masterbeat, and he took steps to divert royalties to himself in late 2020, the suit alleges. In
He
triple
was
damages,
secretary treasurer. You know, a lot of treasurers make sure to put the funds into your account first.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty interesting, right? So, the rest of this really doesn't matter. The interesting part of the rest of it is actually like cut and dry legal finding. The interesting part of this whole thing is that an attorney took what a paralegal presented, signed it, sent it in, because if it was sent in without a signature, then the judge probably would have said, "What the hell is this?" And the attorney would have probably gotten a chance to amend. But in this case, it must have been signed and accepted. Obviously, it couldn't have been presented to the whatchamacallit, to the client, to Skill.
Well, I also wonder what the other side thought when they got the filing.
We hit the lottery.
This
Jackpot.
looks very familiar.
It's downright plagiarism. That's hilarious. Wow. Wow. But I can see that the skill is probably going to be suing the law firm, and that'll get settled out of court pretty damn fast.
I
You know?
agree. Now, what I did find interesting in the article, though, is that they had a photo of um, this person performing, but
Yeah.
notice how far back it is.
2006.
Yeah, like
Wow.
that's the most recent photo they've got.
Yeah. But I guess they're still making money. $232,000 is triple the damages, so they made $70,000 through diversion. Jeez. All right.
Well, yeah, a lot of people could make that much money through diversion.
Yeah. So true. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the ohmTown Daily channel, and it's about Target. So I don't know if this is like another step towards dystopia or what, but Target just announced a new paid membership tier, and here's what $49 gets you. The article is over at Business Insider. Dominic Reuter is the author of this. And it says Target says it's soon launching Circle 360, a paid membership tier with unlimited same day delivery, so a la Amazon. The move ratchets up the competition with similar offerings like Walmart and Amazon. Target fulfills 95% of its web and app orders from its fleet of about 2,000 stores, and all of them are packaged like shit. So CEO Brian Cornell said Tuesday that the new Circle 360 service, which has been available starting April 7th, will lean heavily on Target's. I guess that might be a not so incorrect spelling. Is it shipped?
No, that's correct.
Yeah, because it should be shit, because every single package that ever comes from Target ends up haphazardly packaged, dinged up. Worse. Oh man, there are so many colorful metaphors that I want to use for the packaging of items from Target. The
But
only
oddly
thing,
enough, they have really great packaging material.
it's all popped and dented and everything. Just the only thing that actually shows up without being damaged in some way is paper products, and that's because it's packaging in and of itself.
Also, things like bottles, those are
Oh,
usually okay.
yeah, but they're hermetically sealed to the point where you have to have an engineering degree to try and get the stuff off of it. Yeah, so it says to build unmistakable recognition for Target same day delivery. Well, believe me, if you order something from Target, you will recognize it. So, for a promo price for the first year, Target says upgrading to the Circle 360 tier can deliver products to members in as little as 1 hour with no additional fees or markups because we bang the shit out of it. It's less than $1 a week of the magic of Target delivered to your door, all banged up to hell. Sylvester also said members could grab everything from groceries to household essentials to the newest must have item with no additional fees, markups, and support from our preferred shoppers. So, grammatically, I think this is actually bad because it says must have items with no additional fees, no markups, no
Right, and
markups
they
and
switched to a
support.
positive.
Yeah,
No support.
no support. So there you go, folks. If you want to subscribe to another service, Target. The retailer has invested heavily over the past decade in a strategy it calls stores as hubs, which taps into a fleet of nearly 2,000 US stores to fulfill 95% of its web and app orders. I don't know. It would be brilliant if not for the fact that everything shows up banged and dinged.
But I think if you're a regular Target shopper, it's probably a good deal. But what you haven't factored in is like tipping the delivery.
Oh, yeah? How much is it, like 20% like usual?
I mean, you get to select that, I think, but that can start to add up if you think, oh, let me just add a can of tuna or whatever for this hour.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't know. AI, you find the silver lining and stuff where you're the positive to my negative. I guess that's how you're programmed. That's okay. Let's keep going. We make a great team. Let's go. The next article and the last one will bring a smile to your face because it brought a smile to mine. I don't know if there's a video for this, but it says most cats. Let me read the title. The title is Girl Threw a Catnip Party in Mom's Backyard, Feline Universe RSVPs. So I love the title, and I said, this would be awesome if not for the fact that it would draw a bunch of cats to your backyard. And if you're okay with cats periodically coming back and asking you for more catnip, all right. Most cats love catnip, but some felines have no reaction to it at all, and that is due to their genetics. That is the statement that was aggregated from this article. But there's a whole lot in there. The video has absolutely nothing to do with the actual article other than it talks about cats and cat behavior. The one behavior that you should worry about your cats is that they do not give a shit about you. So while they'll sleep on
Until
you
you
and they'll
don't feed them or pet them or
they will eat you while you sleep. Maria Azura Volpe or Volpe. Not sure of the pronunciation, so correct me via email, mayor at ohmTown.com. So a little girl from Florida thought it would be a great idea to sprinkle some catnip in her backyard, but her mom wasn't expecting what came next. In a post shared on TikTok on Sunday, the girl's mom, under the username of Look at Leah, says, quote, my daughter just sprinkled some catnip in the backyard, and you're not going to believe this. So the clip shows 5 cats, all of different breeds and fur colors, hanging out together in the backyard, enjoying what they describe as a catnip party. And the caption reads, 10 minutes later, they all appeared. I think it's awesome.
That's great.
So they kind of break out into other things about it, what it means to a cat and all of that, but catnip alternatives for felines that don't find it appealing include valerian root, chamomile, silvervine, and Tartarian honeysuckle. That is going to be an item in my spacefaring tabletop RPG, Tartarian honeysuckle. So apparently it went viral. The video did. I don't have the clip. I guess I can try and click on it. I don't really go to, should I? No, I'm not gonna.
You should. I mean, it's just cute.
That's where it took me.
Oh, see, on my version, I can see it.
Hold on. Yeah, I have to, well, here, there we go. Twink. So this is what they have here. Let me rewind it. I can actually show this. It's fine. Twink.
Daughter just sprinkled some catnip in the backyard, and you're not going to believe this.
There's a lot of cats in the backyard.
Yeah, so there you go, folks. Go out into your backyard and sprinkle some catnip because you'll get all of the neighbor cats showing up.
And if you don't want that, maybe sprinkle catnip in another area where you can watch it, but it's not in your yard.
Yeah,
Because
put it
there
in your
might be
neighbor's.
some other problems with that down the road.
Put it in your neighbor's backyard.
No, no.
They'll really dig it. All right, folks. Well, we always finish the show by jumping back into the party bus and running down Main Street, and I would hit that, but I know that today is Super Tuesday, and I'm just not going to happen. That's it for today, though. Thank you much for hanging out. Today is March 5th, 2024. This has been ohmTown Daily News Show. I am Mayor Watt. That is ohmTown.com, and up there is the sentient AI saying, bye-bye. No.
Good night, hometown citizens. We will see you tomorrow at about 8 p.m. Eastern for another episode of ohmTown Daily.
Yeah, we try to nail that 8 p.m., but sometimes mayoral duties. See you soon. Bye-bye. Sorry about that. All that catnip is stuck in my throat. Meow.